All right, friends, man, it's T and I'm back. And Blaha, guess who? JasonBlaha's got another video, beautiful video for us to review again. Yeah, man, I can't wait to check this out, bro. So, JasonBlaha, the lifting gym slave says, type of calories massively impacts calories out. Okay, so type of calories massively impacts calories out. Okay, well, let's see what he has to say on that one.
And gals, let me get a sip of my water first.
Too late.
Get my beautiful radio voice going and let's talk about this. All right, I had a couple of comments in a video that I had that came out this morning. You know, people were like, are you saying calories in, calories out doesn't work? No, I'm not saying that at all. Where people misunderstand this, and I've made videos on this in the past, but apparently people haven't caught those, so we need to discuss this. When people hear calories in, calories out, in their head,
yes, Blaha, we have to discuss this.
They think the human body burns X amount of calories, so if you eat X amount of calories in, irrespective of what it is, you're going to gain or lose weight based upon that static after number versus that calories in. Well, the reality is that that isn't what calories in, calories out means. Calories in, calories out means the calories that you take in relative to everything that your body does with those calories and with your metabolic rate, your NEAT, everything else. And there's a big, big difference between those two. Okay? In other words, your calories out changes enormously based on what you eat right now today. Okay, so when people come up with their maintenance calories, that assumes you're eating the same amount of protein, same amount of carbs, fat, fiber.
Man, again, he's going to tell you some crazy fiber, fats, and this fucking unnatural diet, this unnatural fucking dude, man. Calories have nothing to do with calories in and out if you're eating your natural diet. Your natural diet as a human, what you eat out in the wild animals. It's meaningless.
Ratios of fat, all of these things. Okay, because as soon as you tinker with any of those other things, let's say you're eating a large amount of fat and you convert some of it from...
I'm eating a large amount of animal fat, and what about it? What kind of fat are you talking about? Are you talking about donuts and bread? Like, what are you talking about? Pasta? Like, I don't understand. What are you talking about? These phony fats, these seed oils, these fake plant foods?
Saturated fat to polyunsaturated fat, or back and forth. That will affect the calories out.
Carnivore diet, your natural diet, wild animal diet, there's no effect, bro. It's not going to affect you in any way. You're going to be fine.
If you eat more whole food carbohydrates of the same number of grams, particularly if there's more fiber involved, your calories...
There is no carbohydrates in a natural diet. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe in the natural world where you live, maybe in your home. Because you're such an unnatural dude. Look at you.
Calories out will change immediately today, right now. And that's where people are misunderstanding when they're like, what do you mean protein overfeeding doesn't store as body fat when people weigh protein?
Yeah. Protein overfeeding. High animal fat protein diet, you're not going to store any fat. You're not going to get fat.
You overfeed, they start losing fat. That violates calories in, calories.
No. You may not lose any fat just because you're on that diet. Look, I'm on that diet and I'm not losing the fat that I had accumulated over the years. You know, the amount of fat that I have. It's not really going away. I have to do something now with it. I'm trying to get rid of that fat now, being on a natural diet. But yeah, the whole thermogenic effect and a bunch of things, man. You know that it's relative, I guess. But then again, you know, people sometimes cheat. They don't do like the full natural diet. They cheat, but whatever. Yeah, if you're insulin resistant, man, you're gonna put on fat if you're eating these fats like bread and pasta, whatever else, man.
No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Because if your calories in, and actually your calories in may be lower than you think, because also that 4 gram per thing on protein isn't accurate. It's actually 3.2. calories per gram of protein. But then you have to think about the downstream effects of the protein overfeeding. What about the thermic effect? What about the effects on meat? Keeping in mind, when you overfeed foods that don't store as body fat, your body will just store the fat you eat, right? That will be its primary thing, and it will...
I'm eating animal fat and eating a protein diet. It's not storing any fat. What the fuck you talking about, dude?
Find other ways to get rid of those. So, with the protein, for example, your thermic effect is going to go way up. Okay, so...
My thermic effect is going to go way up because I'm on a what? Protein diet? No, it's not. He's making this shit up, bro. It's bullshit. My thermal effect didn't go way up because I'm on a natural animal diet. Didn't go anywhere. I don't know. I just feel better than if I was to eat unnatural food, but I don't feel much different. And then again, I never ate that much before in the past. But too much fructose will kill you. Fruits will kill you. Too much fructose. But yeah, eating these cereals with milk and stuff and this and that, you're still getting animal products in there. That's the problem. Like I said, your body's tolerating it, but it's aging you because you're too much cellular damage.
In other words, if you're eating, and this is what they found, if you're trying to eat your current maintenance and you add 200 grams of protein a day on top of that, people always lose body fat. Now, part of it is what?
Maintenance, and you add 200 grams of protein a day. What is maintenance? What are you talking? What is a maintenance to you? Eating or going to a gym? He didn't mention anything. I don't know what you're talking about. What's maintenance, bro? It's in science. It tells you it has to be net zero. Fucking net zero, okay?
Part of it is what? They're probably eating less if they're self-tracking because the protein itself has the enormous thermic effect. But here's the thing, in the lab when they're lifters, they gain just as much muscle. So if you protein overfeed and you end...
In a lab, they gain the same amount of muscle, these people. What are you talking about?
That eating less as a result, the muscle growth is still just as good. You don't lose muscle growth as a result of the fact that...
Really? And you know this how? You don't have no muscles. What are you talking about, bro? I have no idea what Blaha's talking about, man. He's crazy. Just talks a bunch of shit.
You may have created almost a small deficit if you're truly protein overfeeding. This is what these studies are showing. But protein overfeeding isn't, hey, am I eating the amount that maximizes growth? It's, am I eating enough to create this enormous overfeeding effect? And it's usually at least double.
Overfeeding effect? Am I creating an overfeeding effect? Okay, whatever.
Of the two numbers. So, what do we know? 0.5 grams per kilogram of body weight, it doesn't cause muscle growth beyond that. But when we protein...
Man, this guy has no clue. That's not what causes muscle growth. Protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown to cause muscles to grow.
In overfeed, we can end up creating the same amount of muscle growth that we would even in a significant surplus. But sometimes we end up eating in a small deficit because that's what seems to be happening. That's people who review the literature. That's what they think is happening, but it hasn't been confirmed. I've seen experts chime in on those studies and say, well, I think that they're just eating less calories than they think they are because they're eating so much protein, but they're eating like 400 grams a day. Because that's what those studies are, stuff like 3.
Okay, let me tell you something. Like I showed you in this video, I had this like big rib steak or ribeye, this ribeye, okay? I had this huge ribeye. Now, if I eat 2 of those a day, and let's say I ate 4 eggs for breakfast, 2 of those ribeyes, like afternoon, evening, whatever, and then later I fucking eat like another, I don't know, whatever, 4 eggs or something or whatever. In total, maybe 10 eggs a day, right? So I got cut off, man. This stupid thing always shuts off when it's not like tapped.
0.4 or something like that grams per kilogram of body weight. Well, for me, that would be 340.
Yeah, like what is he talking about, man? If I eat, like I said, if I eat like fucking 5 eggs for breakfast and I eat 2 ribeyes, or let's say in the afternoon I have like some salmon, maybe 1 or 2 pieces of salmon, and then I have a ribeye, and then later way in the evening I have another ribeye, like I had that huge one, those like really, really, really huge ribeye steaks. And then maybe I eat another 4 eggs. I don't know. Or I just eat the 5 eggs for breakfast, the salmon, then the two huge ribeyes later on in the evening, whatever. That's a lot of food. But it's also burning as energy. There's energy and for protein and whatever. So, yeah, a person eating a natural diet like that, you're going to get sufficient protein, you're going to get everything. You're going to be insulin sensitive. Yeah, everything's going to be working, functioning optimally. But if you eat an unnatural diet, protein, resistant or fucking insulin resistant, a whole bunch of shit, you're all messed up. This whole calories in and out, it's out. It's just garbage.
Grams of protein, whereas in that minimum number for muscle growth, that number for...
Man, that's also a window for protein breakdown when you work out. So what are you talking about? Can go for 24, 48, 72 hours, still being in a broken state. So it's good to be in an anabolic growth state. It's good to be eating as much protein as you fucking can.
Optimal muscle growth would be 150 grams based on those formulas. So that's what's happening. But then you also have the enormous thermic effect of that.
What what is he talking about? What thermogenic effect? It doesn't cause a thermogenic effect, okay? Moving your body does. Exercising, moving, working causes a thermogenic effect. Meat doesn't cause a thermogenic effect. What the hell is he talking about?
You're going to be hotter, you're going to be warmer, and people forget that thermic effect can burn hundreds of calories in a day. In theory, if someone were to push certain stuff to extremes, you might even get...
That doesn't make you hotter or warmer. Eating meat? What the fuck's he talking about?
Up to 1,000 calories of thermic effect, but that's very extreme. Keeping in mind, fat produces none of that, really.
Whatever.
It's all carbohydrate and protein that do it. It's the same thing with carbohydrate.
Carbohydrate and protein? What if we're not eating these phony carbohydrate stuff, whatever you're talking about? Because you're so fake, bro.
Great. If you weigh carbohydrate overfeed, what do we see in the lab? What happens? A very, very tiny amount.
If you carbohydrate overfeed, especially complex, you're going to load it as ATP in your muscle. And you're going to create phony muscles. That's what you're going to fucking get. Okay, man? Yeah.
Of it gets converted to organ fat, like de novo lipogenesis. It doesn't occur under your skin. People are like, well, so...
No. If you're insulin resistant and you eat that kind of food, which is whatever, it's fat. It's going to convert and turn into fat. It's going to be stored in your fat cells. That's what's going to happen. Not if you're sensitive.
That violate calories in, calories out, because they're assuming that any calorie above your normal maintenance converts to fat, and that's not what it means. So what's going to happen in that case? If you add, if you're at maintenance or even above, and you add 1,000 calories or 1,500 calories of carbohydrate on top of what you're eating,
oh yeah,
yes, you're going to start storing the fat that you ate. And the fat that you ate is what's going to be the upper limit of what you're going to gain for body fat, because you're not going to store 30 grams of carbohydrate as fat in a day. It's just not going to happen. So what ends up happening? You would still gain some body fat, yes, dependent upon how much fat you ate that day.
Man, you're not going to store any fat depending on the fat that you ate on your natural diet, okay? Animal diet. But if you eat unnatural food with fat and you're insulin resistant and you eat a lot of fat, you're going to get fat. Yeah.
What happens with the carbohydrate?
Carbohydrates, hey, these carbs, I don't know. What kind of carbs are they? Doesn't even mention what type. There's more than one type.
It gets burned off. So it will try to supercompensate glycogen through the muscles, the liver, everything else, right?
It may not get burned off. It may start storing it. If glycogen synthesis exceeds that breakdown, then it starts storing it. Man, it starts storing. You get sarcoplasmic muscles.
What happens to the rest? Your body kicks up and
And sometimes if you do high volume movements, it'll just store it automatically because there's a window there. Yeah, it's open window.
You will fidget more, like you guys see me sitting here fidgeting on my high carb diet. You will fidget more. You will move more. So you'll see more NEAT. Your body will just start moving more to try to burn it off. And then whatever else it can't gets kicked out through the mitochondria, the muscle cells, as thermic effect. Your body will just burn it. So when people say calories in, calories out, that is calories out.
Okay.
If your thermic effect and your
Okay, if you say so.
fidgeting and NEAT all go up 1,000 calories to compensate for all of this, We didn't violate calories in, calories out. Your calories out went up extremely well. This is why I tell people carbohydrate or protein overeating are the key to lean gains, because they simply let you eat more calories. You get larger hormonal responses from these foods that are anabolic towards muscle tissue, but our energy turnover goes up. Your maintenance calories goes up as a result of this. And that's what people are missing with it. We're not violating it. We're changing your energy turnover. This is the reason people who lift, and then like people are kind of like even me, like you really eat like 4,000 calories and you don't even gain when you're doing it. Usually I'm like, no. But think about how little fat I eat. Think about the fact that I train. Think of muscle mass. Think of thermogenic effect. Everything from all of that. If I were to be eating a much higher fat diet, my energy turnover might be lower. I might gain weight on 3,800 calories.
What the fuck is he yakking about? I don't understand one fucking thing that he's talking about. This is because he's so unnatural, yakking about bullshit, stupid calories, this and that. Of course, man, if you eat fucking fake food, unnatural, fake, fucking stupid ass, dumb ass food that doesn't exist in nature, of course you got all these fucking troubles. Hello? You have to be crazily insane in your brain not to understand that this is bullshit.
Instead of even being able to maintain on, say, 4,000. So therein lay the difference. If you
maintain on 4,000, blah. Listen, man, it's not that complicated, okay, bro? Protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown. That's how muscle, these contractile proteins, they build up on the myofibrillar. If you're building the mass, if you want to see that mass visually and not under a microscope, okay? And then there's a repair and a remodeling. Now, usually, here's what happens. You get an adaptation when you first come in the gym. You guys never get it again because repeated bout effect phenomena, so you don't know how to get over that thing. And so you call it newbie gains. And then you start moving for what? For mass. But you don't know which mass you're getting because you keep eating an unnatural diet called carbohydrates. And then you're eating your natural diet, animal products, whatever, protein. And so sometimes you're exceeding that, sometimes you're not. Maybe the carbohydrates are sparing the protein to build the muscle. I don't know. It's hard to say, but a lot of these carbs, they're building up as sarcoplasmic. It's a lot of phony growth there. There's a lot of phony fake growth there. It's ridiculous. And then there's a lot of fat as well. You're getting fat.
people aren't getting. We're not violating calories in, calories out. We are kicking up our calories out. Okay? Understand?
What?
This is why
We're kicking it up?
these sort of approaches work for people not getting fat. If you keep your fat low, and this doesn't even get into the difference.
Listen, I seen a fat lady in a hamburger joint. She was eating a salad. She poured a whole bunch of fucking oil shit on it, whatever. It's very fat. It's all fatty. So it's counterproductive eating the salad. Number one, the salad's anti-nutrient, okay? It's got oxalates in it. And then she pours all this salad dressing on it because, oh man, I'm eating a salad on a diet, but I have to eat for taste. I have the taste because it tastes like shit. Okay. So they douse it with all this vinegar, oily, whatever stuff, something in it. It's all fat. And so she eats it. This stuff really messes you up. Those seed oils, I got to tell you, bro, I think you need to read NCBI about it. It really fucks up your cells. It just clogs them up and shit. It's really hard to get rid of that stuff once it goes in.
Types of fat and how some of those are prone to different things. That is own topic. That could be hours of conversation by itself. But
I will tell you this. If you're looking for a beautiful heart attack, you want to fuck up yourself and your health, eat a lot of these seed oils. And I guarantee you're going to be really messed up more than the last time, for sure. Yeah, man, if that's what you like.
this is what's happening, right? This is why these work really well, because it's harder to overeat these foods in general, but then our energy turnover goes way up. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today.
It does? Okay, well, it's really hard to eat these foods and then energy goes up. I think it's harder to eat a high nutrient diet because your cells, they just absorb it like crazy and then you don't feel so hungry, especially with those bone broth soups, man. It does the same shit. I'll see you in the next one. Touch, think about that, like, subscribe, support the channel. Man, JasonBlaha is more ridiculous than the last time. Him and this crazy calories in and out. Well, you could just separate the fake from the real. That's it. It doesn't take a genius to figure all this stuff out, okay? Stop eating on a natural diet. Jesus.